Yes.
All right, very good. I'm Kendrick Nelson, president of Photrek. We have a terrific team working on some projects, and this proposal is simulating risky worlds. And that did not flip. Let's see. There we go. So I'll give you the roadmap of what Photrek is working on for SingularityNet. Under Deep Fund 1A, we have built a risk-aware assessment tool, and we've actually just this week completed our testing in our internal sandbox, so we will be launching that service sometime in the next week. And basically what this does is it takes probabilities in that were forecasted by a algorithm, and then it reports out this chart with a distribution of those probabilities and a metric of robustness, which is sensitive to your worst performance, a metric of accuracy, which is consistent with information theory, and then a metric of decisiveness, which approximates how you would do in a classification decision. Those metrics get fed into a training of an algorithm called a coupled variational autoencoder, where we have modified the traditional VAE to incorporate risk awareness through this, particularly this metric of robustness. And so we've shown and we've completed testing that we can generate images that are more accurate and more robust. And in conjunction with that work that will be launched this month on this net, we've been doing design work towards a simulation using a dynamic coupled variational autoencoder. And we've just recently identified a suite of algorithms from Google Brain called world models that we'll be using for the core of that. That will give us both a mixture model for more complexity and the dynamics using a recurrent neural network. We will report on that design and prototyping in March, and that will feed into what we're proposing for this proposal under the Deep Fund 2B, where it's an existing work. So we'll be building from the Google Mind, we'll be building from the coupled variational autoencoder, and we'll be proposing to launch that as a service sometime in May or June that will give people the ability to use simulations to generate simulated data. And the customers we're looking at to make use of this is we have a potential customer in Vantage Risk that's been sponsoring some of our proposals. They do insurance on catastrophic risks like hurricanes and tornadoes and floods. We've had several conversations with Singularity DAO about their asset portfolio management, and they're particularly interested in being able to generate data that fills in gaps in their live data. And then we have had several conversations with Rejuve, who's actually using a VAE, and we're going to look at see if we can make an improvement in their models. And then finally, we have a contract with Brown University's Community Noise Lab that is doing work in environmental justice in Jackson, Mississippi. And am I doing? Yeah, I guess I got a little bit of time. And so the budget we've proposed is to break the project into, well, the people working on it are myself and Bill Thistleton will kind of lead the project and provide the risk integration. And then Anderton and Hung will do the development and integration with the simulation. And then we're going to kind of prototype that simulation, make sure everything's working right, get it onboarded, and then show a customer application is the goals for the project. So we're excited to have the community's support. We really appreciate the support we got in Deep Fund 1, and we're excited to continue working with such a great team and such a great community. And that is it. I'll leave it up if anyone has questions relevant to the figures, particularly the first one on the roadmap. I can take questions.
Yeah, Curtis. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Curtis.
Hey, Kenrick, this is awesome. This is an ignorant question, but I see in your design simulation you're using the RNN dynamics. Does that provide more strict structure, or why RNN over some like
we're evaluating different algorithms. What was particularly attractive about this particular algorithm from Google Mind was actually the fact that they had incorporated a mixture model into this latent layer. So the way the encoder works is you encode your knowledge about a complex data set into a statistical distribution. But we have now at this point run the limits of just a multidimensional Gaussian. So we're going to now use a mixture of multidimensional Gaussians that will let us encode more complex images. And then that algorithm is using RNNs, but we could foresee at a later date using other kinds of dynamic modeling.
Thank you. Just curious.
Thanks for the question. Others?
Yeah, Kenrick, Tom here.
Hello, Tom.
I used to be a risk manager a long time ago, mostly insurance and financial stuff. This is looking like some really cool stuff that has such futuristic applications. Where do you see it, like in a year, 2 years, 5 years? Where do you see this project ending up or being?
Well, I guess I can give you the longer story. I've been doing research in this area for 10 or 20 years, and I've applied it in other industries where particularly this metric of robustness is quite novel. The way I would describe it is in the early days of machine learning, a lot of algorithms are actually designed to optimize their classification performance, and that is a real weakness. Today, the VAE and other algorithms do use information theory, and that's a big improvement. But what happens is you can still get very long tails where you have these outliers that you're not performing well against and your metrics aren't sensitive to. This goes by, I call this a risk parameter now. It also goes by the shape of a distribution, the heavy tail. It also has the phrase outliers. So we're trying to control for those outliers. So the first step has been to kind of prove that we can do this. And we've published a paper doing that. And now the next step is to kind of build a client base. And one of the first clients that looks really interested in this is Vantage Risk. So I think there's still, a lot of work ahead to turn our research group into a product group, but the support from SingularityNet and the ability to host this on a global marketplace is helping us do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Kenrick, for your presentation and for answering those nice questions.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Sure. And you.